Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode number 77. This I'm reviewing the 5th Case Closed TV special, Conan Disappears, the worst dude in history. Yeah, that's the name of this thing. This special was released in 2014, the day after Christmas. Yeah, this one by far is one of the most confusing specials I have ever seen. Yes, and one big problem aside from the plot is so freaking confusing is the fact that here's kind of the thing. I noticed this after watching about 30 minutes movie, like all of a sudden they're repeating the same scene, like what? Why repeating it? Like did I hit something? No. Apparently, it seems as though about half of this movie is pretty much just stock footage of stuff we've already seen. That's the biggest problem in this movie aside from the confusing plot. Yeah, the movie starts out basically where we have these two guys playing golf, talking about some kind of something involving the CIA, and that's it. I'm like, what? What the heck is this? And by the way, the two characters appear in the opening like 3 minutes of the special don't appear ever again. Yes. We also have a plot involving bombs. I'm like, okay. We don't really see much of these bombs. Oh, yeah. Apparently, they're in cookie tins. We see these things briefly once, the whole entire special. And Conan somehow stumbles upon this plot just by sheer coincidence. How is almost okay? Apparently, Agasa's bath is broken. So, Conan and Nita basically say, okay, let's use the bath at the Mori house. Conan uses a regular basis. Anita probably she already has used it. So like, okay, let's go to the bathhouse. Okay, not the first time in the series that they've actually done this. Go to a bathhouse. Yeah. And it just ran Anita and Conan. That's it. Surprisingly, Agasa doesn't go. Yes. I don't know why, but he doesn't. So, basically, you have Ren and Anita just chillaxing in the bathwater. They barely speak to each other. They don't look at each other. I'm like, then what was the whole point of this scene to have him here? And you have Conan just happen to see some suspicious guy looking at another locker, talks to him briefly, and then he basically, oh yeah, let's just have him slip and apparently hits his head, and somehow he gets amnesia. I'm thinking though, that's not how amnesia works. Okay, you slip on a marble floor and somehow that gives you amnesia? I mean, yeah, it's a slight bump, like, that's like an ouch, but that wouldn't give you amnesia at all, so he wakes up in a car. By the way, he's actually brought in a towel without his clothes. I'm like, Conan, where the hell are your clothes? And where are your glasses? Yes. And he's brought to a hideout with a couple people who are with him for a little while, put him to sleep, and then all of a sudden another woman shows up and shoots two of these guys. I'm like, what? Why the heck would she shoot him for? Oh yeah, because she's ordered by the person behind all this. Taru. Why they're doing this? Never explained. Apparently he has things like bombs. He wants to kill the prime minister, this foreign minister's family for some reason. Yeah, it's not exactly supposed to reveal to him, oh yeah, there's some conspiracy involving the higher ups of this foreign government. Like, what? Oh my gosh. And then they had their base operations is this house. This nice looking house. They can easily see the United States. But this is Japan. And like they hang out here for a while, and of course they send it back to the city. And like a half-hour movie is like, okay, and all of a sudden we like repeat stock. We just repeat the same scene over again. Like, what? What the heck is this? I mean, if you take out all the reused scenes in this movie is barely over an hour long. I mean, that's the reason why it's an hour and a half. It's because 30 minutes of this movie is pretty much stock footage. Yeah, Conan somehow. Oh yeah, and it's revealed that Conan was actually faking the whole amnesia the whole along. I'm like, why? So it goes to plot. It's particularly very strange. And Ren, for the first time in quite a while, I've seen this. Probably the last time I saw her while watching the anime, her wearing her school uniform that I can think of was probably in this Crimson School Trip two-parter from last year. Yeah, that was the most recent time I've actually worn the uniform. Now, this special was released 5 years prior to that, but yeah, a lot of the time when you see Ren, you hardly ever see her in the high school at all. Yeah, it's particularly very odd. It's like she's angry because Conan's missing, and apparently she's getting these strange text messages from Sichi. By the way, this is before they started dating. And as for Anita, she just finds Conan his glasses. Apparently he's at a house. She finds a place, and then all of a sudden her and Agasa pretty much run off the road. By the way, Agasa's car is purged but destroyed. And she falls out of the car. Look how she's saved by Conan's gadgets. Well, actually, her Agasa's gadgets, but Conan uses them. Like, she uses the soccer ball, the watch as a tranquilizer dart, and she uses the glasses. Okay. And apparently, she loses her phone. And by the way, does she ever go back to get her phone? Nope. It's completely forgotten about. Like, oh, look, there's a phone in the water. And she ignores it. It's like, okay, then. Yeah, they don't go back this at all. She gets up to the place. She basically breaks the place, but she's about to take out a guy who actually is a hacker, who apparently instructed Conan to carry a bunch of bombs to this Mass Yaiba event. I'm like, yeah, because that's what the Prime Minister's children, that's what these minister's children are. Okay. By the way, it's never revealed who exactly hired her to basically kill this foreign minister, who in the government basically this. Oh, it's some higher level officials who want to get rid of it for some reason. Yeah, it's never explained. Not at all. By the way, the minister himself, he appears briefly for one scene, and that's it. His family appear for a few scenes. They get barely, I don't think they get any dialogue at all, because apparently they don't speak Japanese. Okay. Then why come to frickin' Japan if you can't speak Japanese? Okay. So, and Conan basically, oh yeah, there's a bomb here. Everybody evacuates, and then of course the guy basically goes, oh yeah, and of course they say they go back to the hotel. Yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, this special, by the way, is a crossover with a movie that was actually directed by the same guy who directed the movie called Key Life. Yes, and actually features characters from that film in this film. Yeah, as for the reason for this, because maybe Gasho Ayame, the creator of Case Closed, I'm sure he was probably a fan of this film. He's like, hey, can we cross over these characters with mine? He's like, sure. So they created this special, which he just happened to direct. Okay. And so Anita gets captured, and then Ran somehow finds the place because she follows a car. And, like, M comes out basically because she's ran at the door. Like, oh, maybe she's going to shoot her. He comes out, waving his gun, and then she just knocks the gun out of his hand. And then here comes her father's like walking like, ugh. And apparently, I kind of laughed at this. Apparently, she's had to beat up the hacker off screen. Apparently, she broke his arm as well. I'm like, what? Okay. I thought that was kind of hilarious, the fact that we're getting a chance to see her beat up somebody in this movie. She knows martial arts, and yet apparently the director just didn't want to show her using her martial arts for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, and eventually Taru, the guy... Yeah, apparently he discovered the fact that apparently this guy named Kendo was apparently this legendary hitman, which actually that was really a lie. He never killed anybody. Yeah, it was something that made up for the movie. Matter of fact, okay, here's kind of the strange thing about this movie. This movie has only a handful of characters from the series. You just have just Conan, you have Ren, Kara, you have her father, you have Anita, you have Agasa. Yeah, these five appear almost the entire movie. We have the other part of the Junior Detective Leap movie, Genta, Mitch, and Amy. They appear briefly for one scene. Yes, one scene at the school. And that's it. That's all you get of those characters. I'm like, really? 3 characters have been part of the series since almost beginning, and you barely feature them? Okay, fine. Yeah, eventually, of course, the guys are eventually stopped. Thanks to, well, how should I put this? These guys are stopped due to the fact that Conan tricked the guy who was in charge of this whole operation into basically confessing that he was, well, planning to kill a hostage who happened to be Kendo's wife. Yeah, when she first opened, she hired Karu to basically conjure to find her husband. They find a revolving door. Yeah, it's shown that apparently he knew about it. Yeah, and has a secret stash. What's in here? The only way to know exactly what the heck is in here, you probably have to watch that film. I personally never seen Key of Life, so I don't know much about the characters in the movie. Yep, and eventually the guy is captured, along with his girlfriend. Yeah, somehow Conan basically tricked. And by the way, does Conan bother to explain this to anybody? Nope, he does not. And everything's fine by the end, and it's a story that's best almost forgotten because of how confusing the movie is. And Conan, half the time, is not really featured that much in the movie. Yeah, I know the movie. I've read the movie is actually the story of itself based upon the real life disappearance of famous mystery writer Agatha Christie, who disappeared back in 1926. Though she was found by the way she acted amnesia. Yeah, I get the fact that the creator is a big fan of Western mystery writers, but why base this upon a real life disappearance case? I have no idea why. I would say the only thing good of this movie is the specials, the animation is really good, and the voice acting does a really good job of the movie. And there's that funny moment with Rand. Aside from that, not much. Oh yeah, also I got some funny. Well, yeah, he's tied up and he's freed by Kendo, who works with Conan because he finds out about the whole thing. Yeah, he finds out easily that Tendo is actually one responsible for all this, despite the fact that he kind of pushed off. Oh yeah, I'm not really in charge, even though he really is. Yeah, it's kind of like though that because here's kind of the thing. This is a style, the way this movie is, and the way it's written. It does not fit case closed at all. It's like the writer, who, by the way, the guy who wrote this movie, also directed it, and I kind of put the blame on him, basically, for how confusing this movie is. And it was probably his idea to pretty much reuse stock footage. Yes, like the bathroom scene with Conan slipping. We see that 4 times. This movie. We see Anita. We actually repeat the sequence where she actually carjacks somebody. Yes, we actually do that. I'm like, and also they replay again the scene where she nearly knocks out M the hacker. Yeah, I like the last movie was actually quite interesting. This movie is confusing and it gives the movie, but it's basically a special, an hour and a half special. That if you take out all the stock footage, all the reuse stuff, it's probably barely over an hour long. Yeah, I just barely. My only guess is the reason why that he probably wanted to stretch out to the hour, the extra half, half-hour length. Reuse stock footage. The reason? Well, just kind of explain minor stuff. Yeah, there are barely any plot. This movie is the plot is so minimal at best, and I'm scratching my head a lot this whole movie because it just doesn't fit. I mean, it's kind of good the fact that this is not canon because this is so freaking confusing. And apparently, the director apparently doesn't know anything about the series Case Closed at all, with the exception of the ending. Which, oh yeah, we have by the end of the movie, we actually have Conan asking Anita, "Hey, can I have the end of this so I can turn back to Sichi?" He's like, "No," because of all this confusing nonsense. Calls her a cheapskate, and of course he thanks her for looking for him. And the movie ends basically this last little gag, like apparently gossip. Oh yeah, my bathroom is broken. So yeah, by far the most confusing special I've ever seen. See? So yeah, I know this is kind of late, and why am I speaking so low? Because it's getting kind of late here. So I'm going to basically do more reviews definitely tomorrow. Okay? Which, as far as I can tell, probably another at least one Case Closed video tomorrow, and My Girlfriend's Slave Virgin, and probably One Punch Man. Okay? But see you in the next video. Bye.